He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got everybody here in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands.
On this vote, the yeas are 427, the nays are 1. 2/3 being in the affirmative, the rules are suspended, the bill is passed, and without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
Before about Trump cheating on the golf course, there's literally a book about it, which has all these people, like Samuel L. Jackson said that he saw Trump's ball land in a lake and then just like mysteriously be on the fairway. Other people have said like they've literally watched Trump kicking their balls like out of the fairway.
Yeah.
He's very brazen about it, but there's never been video evidence until now. So there's a video that's popped up and you basically see Trump arrive in his golf buggy and he's got these lackeys who I guess are caddying for him, and as they walk away from Trump's golf cart they just drop a ball.
Quite a nice drop, that.
He sort of leans forward and drops it behind him, and then Trump just sort of walks up to it and it's like, oh, there's
It's
my
kind of-
ball. It's proper like Mr. Burns stuff, the way the flunky goes forward and just drops it
Yeah.
forward. And actually it is literally a scene in Goldfinger, the James Bond film, where James Bond's playing and Goldfinger has like a caddy in it, and the butler suddenly, a golf ball just drops down his trousers and Goldfinger's like, there's my ball.
Trouser leg would actually been quite good for that.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just trying to throw people off the scent of the old Epstein files.
True, yeah.
Get them talking about the cheating.
It's time for everyone to consider and realize that the President of the United States has been completely mentally incapacitated. I mean, he's calling on the execution of his perceived political opponents today. He's calling for the execution of Mark Kelly, whose wife, Gabby Giffords, suffered a gunshot wound to the head in an act of political violence. I mean, how do you square that? You can't.
Yes, my name is David Grossberg, and I'd like to know, do you think the children of illegal aliens should be allowed to attend Texas public schools free, or do you think that their parents should pay for their education?
Who are you addressing that to?
I think you're first in this.
He was looking right at you. I said he was. Look, I'd like to see something done about the illegal alien problem that would be so sensitive and so understanding about labor needs and human needs that problem wouldn't come up. But today, if those people are here, I would reluctantly say I think they would get whatever it is that they're, what the society is giving to their neighbors. But the problem has to be solved. The problem has to be solved because as we have kind of made illegal some kinds of labor that I'd like to see legal, we're doing two things. We're creating a whole society of really honorable, decent, family-loving people that are in violation of the law, and secondly, we're exacerbating relations with Mexico. The answer to your question is much more fundamental than whether they attend Houston schools, it seems to me. I don't want to see if they're living here, I don't want to see a whole thing of 6- and 8-year-old kids being made, one totally uneducated and made to feel that they're living with outside the law. Let's address ourselves to the fundamentals. These are good people, strong people. Part of my family is a Mexican.
Death to all pedophiles. No escape, no exile. We see through every smile. Death to all pedophiles. You hid in robes behind the cross while lives were shattered, innocence lost, power paid to close the
I have been trying to talk about this story for a very long time now. And this is, well, perhaps we're getting close to the smoking gun. These two men, Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump, had the closest of relationships for more than a decade. They shared everything. They shared their airplanes. They shared women between them. They shared constantly business and financial advice. You know, it's curious that Epstein's relationship with so many people in public life has damaged them considerably. But the one person who he was closest to has not been held accountable. That's Donald Trump.
When people find out that I'm a constitutional law professor, the question they ask me most often is, why isn't anyone doing anything about ICE? ICE has been trampling on Americans' rights extensively in recent months. It's not just that they're grabbing up people on the basis of their looking Latino and speaking Spanish or working in jobs that they associate with potentially undocumented people, which is bad enough. It's that ICE agents wear masks, don't show identification, stop people on the street, grab them up, and put them into SUVs. According to a report in Wired magazine, it's gotten so bad that the FBI itself issued an internal memo warning criminals impersonating ICE agents were abducting women on the streets. Now, to be clear, lawyers are trying to fight back against ICE, but they've run into three kinds of serious obstacles. The first problem is the Supreme Court. In a decision in September, the court outrageously said that ICE agents can detain someone, quote unquote, briefly, it's not actually briefly, to find out if they're citizens, if a set of circumstances exist to give them, quote, reasonable suspicion that the person might not be documented. And that might not sound that bad on the surface, but it's actually extremely bad because the court then went on to say, in a short opinion by Justice Brett Kavanaugh, that if a person is speaking Spanish and looks like they're Latino, that might be enough as part of the totality of the circumstances to detain them. Now, that's a total violation of our basic equal protection principles. There's no way you could arrest somebody on the basis of their racial or ethnic profile, and yet the Supreme Court has said that that's permitted to ICE agents. Then there are the loopholes that the Trump administration is exploiting to enable ICE to do what it's doing. For example, ICE agents are supposed to have a warrant when they grab people up, but there's a provision of the law that says if they have reason to believe that you might flee and not be able to be captured by them, then they can grab you up without a warrant. There's also no law that explicitly says the ICE agents have to identify themselves. There's no law that says they can't wear masks. And so the Trump administration is taking advantage of these loopholes to perpetuate policies that nobody ever imagined would be in place previously in the United States of America. Finally, there's Congress. Congress could simply pass a law prohibiting ICE from doing the things that it's doing. They could say that they can't stop people on the basis of racial or ethnic profiling. They could say that ICE agents have to identify themselves. They could specify that ICE agents always have to use a warrant. And they have done exactly none of those things. So what can we actually do about ICE? We have to make ICE's conduct into a major issue in the 2026 and 2028 elections and pressure our elected officials, and in particular Congress, to make this a priority and change ICE's practices. If we don't do that, nothing is going to change.
There are 0 trillionaires in the world right now, but they're coming. You've heard about the man likely to become the first, but I think it's likely we'll have as many as 7 trillionaires in the next 3 to 5 years. That's because their wealth is mostly in shares of their companies, and that means it grows a lot faster than cash when their companies do well. And I mean a lot faster. Shares of Oracle, Amazon, Alphabet, and Meta grew by more than 20% a year in the past decade, including dividends. Tesla and Nvidia grew even faster, by 42% and 76%. Once you know that their money is tied up in stock, it's easy to see why America's richest entrepreneurs can't do something that seems easy at first, which is solve America's vast affordability problem. Take Musk, for example. His new pay package gives him more Tesla stock rather than cash as the company's earnings and market value grow. If Musk sold millions of Tesla shares to donate to affordability programs, the stock's price would decline and some investors would freak out, leading to even more selling and might even threaten the company itself. That would hurt all shareholders, including millions of ordinary workers who own stock funds in their retirement accounts. But billionaires can absolutely do something to help. and it would be huge. They can pay their workers better wages. Many companies do just the opposite, suppress wages to help grow their profits. That's why I favor compensation disclosures for public companies, for a start, so that policymakers can evaluate wages relative to living costs. Congress can also give companies tax incentives to grow wages alongside profits. There are a lot.
Here's an important reminder about the Epstein files. The person who withheld them in the first place has been failing the victims in this case for years. I've been covering Attorney General Pam Bondi since she began her rise in Florida back in the 2010s. The first thing to know about her is that she built her political brand around protecting victims of sex trafficking.
I say children, but we know it's young adults, it's boys, it's girls, it's teens are being abducted.
Bondi was Florida's Attorney General from 2011 to 2019 as lawsuits piled up from Epstein's victims challenging his secret plea deal. At that time, prosecutors had not only made Epstein immune from further prosecution, they also illegally hid the agreement from his victims, so they couldn't fight the deal in court. Now, Bondi was elected after Epstein had served his sentence in Palm Beach County Jail, and she quickly tried to establish her office as an advocate for victims of sex trafficking. She erected billboards across the state, created the statewide Council on Human Trafficking, and investigated allegations of past sex abuse by Catholic priests. But Bondi kept her distance from Epstein, even as the victims of the disgraced financier filed lawsuit after lawsuit, alleging he abused them when he was on work release from jail and pleaded with the courts to invalidate provisions of his non-prosecution agreement. But as these cases piled up, Bondi did nothing. Years later, when Trump handpicked Bondi to lead the Justice Department, she got a second chance to rectify this damage. She didn't use it. Bondi could have released the Epstein files as she promised. She could have conducted a sweeping internal probe of how the sweetheart deal happened. Instead, she pointed fingers and even bragged that Epstein's client list was, quote, sitting on her desk. She also destroyed every last ounce of independence her office might have had when she warned Trump that his name appeared in the files. Bondi's inaction helped to perpetuate what victims have described as a government cover-up that has robbed them of a chance at justice.
We have some major news right now. I just got off the phone with Senator Alyssa Slotkin, one of the senators Donald Trump called to be executed, tried, and arrested today. She tells me that she and her office have received hundreds, thousands of threats since Donald Trump called for her execution. But she also told me a nugget that not many people are talking about. Slotkin previously served in the CIA, and she is sounding the alarm bells over the potential use of intelligence agencies like the CIA, which is not allowed to conduct operations on American soil. So I want you to watch what she said about intelligence agencies possibly conducting operations here in America and why intelligence officers need to abide by their oath.
I've definitely been hearing from intelligence officers. And I think the thing that really got my attention on the role of the intel community was the president kind of quietly in September put out an executive order asking the Department of Justice to come up with a list of domestic terrorist organizations, and then said, hey, use the full weight of the federal government, all the different departments and agencies to go after those domestic terrorist organizations. And the definition of domestic terrorist organization was very broad.
We have some major news right now. Donald Trump and the Trump administration have engaged in likely several illegal actions over the past 24 to 36 hours that you need to know about that they don't want you knowing about. Overnight, a district court judge in Washington, D.C. ruled that Donald Trump's deployment of the United States National Guard to Washington, D.C. was illegal. We learned, according to NBC News, that a senior lawyer in the United States Southern Command said that their strikes on Caribbean boats in the Southern Caribbean would amount to extrajudicial killings, likely illegal. A federal judge in Washington, D.C. is actively probing potential contempt-related charges concerning illegal flights of undocumented migrants to El Salvador. And a grand jury in Maryland is actively investigating whether or not Trump administration officials violated the law when conducting mortgage fraud investigations against Trump's political opponents. Now, Trump said that defying illegal orders is tantamount to sedition or treason. And at the same time, there are at least 4 examples where the Trump administration has engaged in illegal actions or have given an illegal order. Spread the word.
Listen to the shocking data coming from Gallup poll about young women wanting to leave the U.S.
Young women, ages 15 to 44, 40% of them say that they want to go.
Yeah, 40%. Are you one of these people fleeing Trump?
Keep saying we have bad ratings, and you should listen to him, because if anyone knows about bad ratings, it's that guy.
President Trump's approval rating is tanking.
Plunging to a new low. A new low, even among Republicans. That's the lowest level of his second term.
That is the lowest it's been in his second term. It is at a low of the second term.
The lowest of his second term.
La aprobación del presidente Donald Trump se desploma a los niveles más bajos.
Más lagos. What does that mean, Guillermo?
Its rating is very low.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
We have to look for ways of treating people humanely, treating people with the dignity that they have. If people are in the United States illegally, there are ways to treat that. There are courts. There's a system of justice. I think there are a lot of problems in the system. No one has said that the United States should have open borders. I think every country has a right to determine who and how and when people enter. But when people are living good lives, and many of them for 10, 15, 20 years, to treat them in a way that is extremely disrespectful, to say the least, and there's been some violence, unfortunately. I think that the bishops have been very clear in what they said, and I think that I would just invite all people in the United States to listen to them.
Hundreds of students at Charlotte schools walked out of the classroom. They are protesting the presence of Border Patrol agents in their city. Meanwhile, Charlotte school district officials say more than 20,000 students missed school on Monday. That's about 15% of the district, and state data shows more than 44,000 students in the district identify as Hispanic.
Do you think the stuff with Epstein will actually get released, or not at all?
If it does, it'll be heavily redacted and his name won't be in it.
But those files do exist.
There's files.
Yeah.
For sure. There's thousands and thousands of pages of files. But again, if they're released in any way, it's going to be very redacted. They'll redact every Republican or conservative person in those files, leave all the liberal, Democratic people in those files, and have a very slanted version of it come out where it's like, look at what he's doing, without releasing any of their bad behavior.
You think that J.D. Vance is a fascist?
If it's convenient for him to be a fascist, he'll be a fascist. Maybe later on he'll go back to being a Silicon Valley Democrat. He'll be whatever he needs to be. Right? I mean, this is a guy who went from Donald Trump what he said, to, I have seen the error of my ways. He'll be something new.
Donald Trump is for you. If you are a convicted sex trafficker who should get transferred to a less bad prison because you're not going to name him. Donald Trump is for you if you have a jet that you will give him. Or Donald Trump is for you if you give billions to his campaign. And so he will allow you to bypass tariffs and not small businesses.
When did become a partisan issue? The American people deserve to know the whole truth about Jeffrey Epstein and every single powerful person who enabled him.
We have major news right now. A very large rally just broke out in Washington, D.C. titled Remove the Regime, calling for the impeachment and removal of Donald Trump. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of people on the National Mall right now as we speak, protesting and demanding the removal of Donald Trump from office, including hundreds of United States military veterans who
You need to stop kidnapping people at the street.
It's scary. It is scary to see. I was passing Home Depot. I saw what appeared to be two men tied up, with ICE agents.
Stop! You guys are kidnapping people at the street.
I walked up to the agents and asked what they were doing, if they were just arresting workers. I was told that other people's criminal history is not my business. When masked, armed, unidentified gunmen are standing in the parking lot of our local shopping centers, this is not how we lawfully and ethically enforce our laws.
We have potentially bombshell news right now. You know the 28-point plan that caused major uproar for Ukraine? Well, apparently it was a Russian plan leaked to the U.S. press, and the U.S. press just ran with it. According to new reports from Mediaite and elsewhere, Marco Rubio told Mike Rounds and other United States senators that that 28-point plan, well, it wasn't anything to do with the United States. It wasn't their plan. Instead, it was a Russian plan that was leaked to U.S. press, and it caused major uproar. And the real stunning part about it, Donald Trump this week publicly pressured Ukraine to accept that plan, even though it was just a Russian wish list. And we're now learning.
I think what he's mad about is why it's focused on him. Well, he's the president of the United States. And so he's trying to throw out any name possible. I thought the most egregious one was Reid Hoffman and some others where there's no evidence of this. And so he's impugning and defaming people. But of course, today he threatened Congress people. So I guess it's just another Tuesday.
Right. I mean, Reid Hoffman's name, he's thrown that out there. Reid Hoffman is a prominent funder of Democratic causes.
Democrats. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hope he sues them for defamation. I don't know what's going to happen here. I just know this stuff is not going to stay quiet now, especially with Congress sort of folding in that way. I thought both Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna, both representatives, were very brave to do that, to really push it through, and many others. And so he can push it away as much as he wants, but eventually all of this stuff gets out. And the idea.
She's a minor! Don't touch her! Don't fucking touch her! We're citizens here! We're not fucking immigrants!
ICE tried to abduct an 11-year-old girl in Little Village on Saturday. I was there. They didn't have a warrant. They didn't have probable cause. They didn't even have reasonable suspicion. Her mom, her grandma, and protesters saved her. Watch.
Be scared! Don't be scared! She's a fucking citizen!
So and that little girl, I got witness with my granddaughter. She got it on her phone too, showing how they did them.
She's a minor! Don't touch her! Don't fucking touch her! We're citizens here!
We have some major news right now. According to Reuters, Doge no longer exists. Yes, I'm serious. The agency that was created by Elon Musk and Donald Trump to cut most of the federal government no longer exists, according to the OPM, Office of Personnel Management, that spoke to Reuters. Here's the only problem. Doge, theoretically, according to Reuters, had 8 months left on its charter. And now its employees are being removed and reassigned to beautify the nation's websites rather than work on any more cuts.
Let me tell you something right now. Get out of my house or we're going to have a problem. You don't have no warrant. You got to stop talking. You don't have no warrant. I'm a U.S. citizen, born and raised in New Jersey. Thank you very much. Okay, so you have the wrong house. Excuse me. That's my door, and that's an expensive door. Do you have a warrant? Can I see your warrant that's signed by a judge for you to be coming and knocking on my door like that? You don't have a warrant, honey. I'm a U.S. citizen. I know my rights of my home. But before you come to my thing, you're going to have to show me a warrant with a thing signed. Because, honey, let me tell you something. I'm a USA citizen, and you guys are demons. Sellouts.
Hey! Fuck you now! Fuck you! Hey! Fuck you!
Well, that's where you fuck around and you found out. You thought you.
What were your messages?
Can I read a poem?
Yeah.
Hold on, let me get it.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yep.
If I had anything to say to Border Patrol, if I had anything to say to ICE, or even the President of the United States, I would say, when you turn out the light and the silence gets loud, do you think of the tears you dragged from that crowd? Do you hear the echo of a child's last scream, or do you hide it away like a half-finished dream? You say it's your job, but your soul knows the score. You're not keeping peace, you're creating a war. You didn't just follow a line in the sand, you broke someone's world with the swipe of your hand. You split a family to follow a rule. Tell me, does that feel righteous or cold or cruel? Because you saw their shaking, you heard their plea, yet turned your face like you couldn't see. But when you go home to your kids tonight, safe in their rooms under soft lamp light, remember the mother you pushed out of sight. Remember the father with no end in sight. So before you sleep, ask why you obey. If this was your family taken today, would you call it justice or just decay? A piece of humanity slipping away. Sharper truth cuts. Let this cut clean. You can't claim honor while breaking someone else's dream.
You're not going to believe this shit. Here's your latest unhinged headlines. First up, Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Bonsa was at the Oval Office earlier this week, and the Orange Demon was giddy.
And Trump doesn't give a fist pump. I grabbed that hand. I don't give a hell where that hand's been.
I'm surprised he didn't lick it. Where have we seen this energy? Right. Maybe he's just elated to sell them F-35 fighter jets, which everyone thinks is a good idea. But here to ask the hard questions, and my new hero, Mary fucking Bruce.
Is it appropriate, Mr. President, for your family to be doing business in Saudi Arabia while you're president? Is that a conflict of interest?
You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter.
So sensy. But he made it up to his special guest.
That we're taking our military cooperation to even greater heights by formally designating Saudi Arabia as a major non-NATO ally.
But the bone saw. Next, at the U.S. Saudi Business Forum, there was some big announcements from Fuhrer Frankenpenis.
We're doing a 500 megawatt.
500 megawatt.
500 megawatt, yeah.
We're doing
Ow.
That'll be $8 bazillion trillion.
Stop that.
Yeah, stop that. Or do more. I don't care. But Daddy Don Don might put you in your place.
You're so lucky I'm with you, Elon. I'll tell you, you are. Has he ever thanked me properly?
I think so.
Thank you.
Next, swastika whiplash. Yep. After the U.S. Coast Guard announced some exciting new changes.
In the new policy, swastikas and nooses will no longer be classified as symbols of hate.
Interesting. KK Carolyn. How come?
The Coast Guard has...
I'm calling on Bloomberg. Go ahead.
Caroline,
Oh, you don't like that? Okay. Shy? Doesn't matter. Because after overwhelming backlash, swastikas are bad. Again. And finally, the Department of Education is reclassifying a long list of female-dominated careers to no longer be professional degrees. Bold move, seeing as this October's jobs report was bad.
Has he ever thanked me properly?
Thank you.
Follow for more unhinged headlines.
The Affordable Care Act is 15 years old, and maybe that's why the administration is trying to fuck it. Whoa. Who said that? The Affordable...
A word. Here's a list of subsidized shit that MAGA loves. Oil and gas, coal mining, fracking, corn, cattle, logging, cruise lines, the military-industrial complex, police, ICE, Border Patrol, prisons, both public and private, SpaceX, Elon Musk, Veterans Affairs, churches, water treatment, rails, rural internet, farming, NASCAR, NFL team relocation, arms manufacturing, military bases, hunting and fishing management, 9/11 emergency systems, firefighting, public university football teams, oh, and my favorite, red state tax inflows from blue states. MAGA.
Yeah, Donald Trump literally just posted this. With any other president, this would equate to the 25th Amendment. Oh, and see that? Does that look like a Nazi eagle? At least he covered up his neck. God forbid we see his private parts.
We have major news. The fallout over the MAGA Twitter accounts being exposed as foreign actors is growing. And let me tell you something. This truly is one of the biggest scandals of the past year because it shows how much of the conservative ecosphere on Twitter is literally just foreign actors. And these MAGA accounts are from...
This is breaking legal news. Several whistleblowers are coming forward saying that Trump has fired government attorneys who warned him that his extrajudicial killings of alleged cartel members in the Caribbean may violate both domestic and international law. Now, this comes after the Pentagon and Trump himself are under tremendous pressure to justify or just stop blowing up boats in the Caribbean on the mere accusation that people on those boats are carrying dangerous drugs. Now,
I don't know about you guys, but I am old enough to remember when conservatives were shooting up pizza parlors because they thought child trafficking was happening inside. When they were circulating fucking insane theories about Wayfair selling children in cabinets because of a 4chan thread. Now, presented with mountains of emails implicating their God King in the most prolific child trafficking ring in human history, nothing. Fucking nothing. You guys are the most unserious motherfuckers that have ever existed. Holy shit.
It's not funny. Wait, don't you freaking hit us. Wait.
We're being tariffed on other countries, then yeah, we should tariff them back if it's not going to hurt us.
It
like
does.
you're
Do you know what a tariff is? And also, like, they have not
course
placed
I
tariffs
do.
on us that we placed on them.
I literally work in finance. Like, don't insult me like that.
That's not an insult. I'm just asking if you know what it is. And by the way, that's
Okay,
a totally...
do you?
Yes, I know what it is. That's a totally
that's good.
genuine question, as I have people come up on my live all the time that don't know what it is. Would you like to explain what a
Okay.
tariff is for people in the live who do not know?
Go ahead.
I'm asking you. Would you like to do it?
A tariff is like a tax that we're going to put on other countries for their imports.
And who pays that tax?
The other countries.
No. So it's actually paid by the American importing business, and it's passed down to the consumer mostly. The foreign country is not paying the tariff. That's just not true. So why did you feel insulted, like, if someone asked you what a tariff was when you genuinely didn't know what it was?
Well, I guess I just feel like you feel very, like, high and mighty when you can just, like, prove somebody wrong about something. Is that wrong?
Yeah, I feel like Superman right now.
You're not going to believe this shit. Here's your latest unhinged headlines. First up, after threatening to arrest him and calling him a communist and a lunatic, another bearded brunette made Dumpy forget all about Bubba.
Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about...
That's okay. You can just say yes.
Okay.
Okay. It's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
Is he okay? Next, after X launched a new location disclosure feature on Friday, we learned that most of the top MAGA accounts are actually posting from places like Nigeria, India, and South Asia. Oh, poor Elon. Even his internet friends are fake. Next, Peter Thiel, who is Jumbo Dork's top donor and the evil mastermind behind government surveillance company Palantir, recently said that Pope Leo is the Antichrist. That's rich coming from this guy.
You would prefer the human race to endure, right? You're hesitating.
Yeah, well,
Yes?
I don't know. I would...
Why does he look like he's melting? And speaking of the couch fucker, Usha was seen on Friday without her wedding ring. Uh-oh. JD got another rug burn? Next, Marjorie Taylor Greene announced on Friday she's quitting Congress.
I refuse to be a battered wife, hoping it all goes away and gets better.
Good for Marge, standing up for herself after making millions in insider trading and gutting healthcare. What a hero.
Senator Mark Kelly is not messing around. Department of War said that they want to re-enlist him so that they can court-martial him, all because he says that you shouldn't follow unlawful orders. Trump's calling him a traitor, and here's his new response to what the Department of War had to say. When I was 22 years old, I commissioned as an ensign in the United States Navy, swore an oath to the Constitution. I upheld that oath through flight school, multiple deployments on the USS Midway, 39 combat missions in Operation Desert Storm, test pilot school, 4 space shuttle flights at NASA, and every day since I retired, which I did after my wife Gabby was shot in the head while serving her constituents. In combat, I had a missile blow up next to my jet, flew through anti-aircraft fire to drop bombs on enemy targets. At NASA, I launched on a rocket, commanded the space shuttle, and was part of the recovery mission that brought home the bodies of my astronaut classmates who died on Columbia. I did all of this in service to this country that I love and has given me so much. Secretary Hegseth's tweet is the first I heard of this. I also saw the president's post saying I should be arrested, hanged, and put to death. If this is meant to intimidate me and other members of Congress from doing our jobs and holding this administration accountable, it won't work. I've given too much to this country to be silenced by bullies who care more about their own power than protecting the Constitution. Mark Kelly, American hero. I'm telling you right now, he is going to be the straw that breaks MAGA's back.
You believe in separation of church and state?
Absolutely, yeah.
Then why are you bringing up religion as a relevant point to how you vote in terms of abortion? Can you name one other thing outside of the context of abortion that Donald Trump supports that is Christian-like?
I think protecting borders is a Christian value.
Really? Did Jesus talk about that in the Bible, or did he specifically say to treat foreigners like the people who are native born to your country?
Okay, yeah, I agree that he would accept it.
So he would actually disagree with Donald Trump's position on borders. So let's be very clear. What specifically is Christian-like in terms of Donald Trump outside of the context of his position on abortion?
I cannot think of something else.
You can't think of anything, right?
Gavin Newsom just signed the No Secret Police Act in California, saying that Kristi Noem is going to have a bad day today because now ICE will no longer be permitted to wear masks in the state of California. Here's what he said.
Federal operations have been conducted for decades and decades without masks. It's never been necessary. It's a new construct conceived to terrorize our diverse communities.
You don't know what's going on, so get the fuck back.
No, you don't know what the fuck is going on. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. Is ICE trained at all anymore? Are they taught about people's rights? Are they taught about what they're not allowed to do? Or are they just told to fucking ignore that? This is in Chicago. He tackled a citizen. That's a fucking citizen right there. And right here, his buddies are running through a private business. They're not allowed to go into a private business or a private home for any kind of immigration action. You would need the police to do that. These motherfuckers are not the police. And this video is from right outside of Chicago. That's a teenager, a U.S. citizen teenager. He pulls her out of the car, flings her around, throws her to the ground, and then has his knee on her neck. She was detained for hours, and her parents had no idea where she was. What the fuck are we doing? They have no rules whatsoever. I mean, they just take people. They just take them. We need to collect. If you can make it to a No Kings protest, we need to do it.
You don't understand how good you have it. I believe by the fourth quarter, we're going to see a substantial acceleration.
Moody's Analytics chief economist saying he's crunched some numbers, and based on those numbers, you've got 22 states. You're talking about almost half of the country that's right now in a recession, according to this data, or on the precipice of one.
In the fourth quarter of 2025, this economy is going to be humming.
Actually, all of agriculture is struggling right now. It's more than just us on the row crop side. According to the University of Illinois, every farmer is going to lose about $100 an acre.
So I would expect third, fourth quarter, we are going to see a substantial acceleration.
John Deere is laying off people, and Case IH is laying off people. And that's all due because of the fact that we have no income.
Okay, the Donald Trump economy. We own the economy in the fourth quarter.
U.S. consumer inflation accelerates. Weekly jobless claims approach a 4-year high. Axios reported that, quote, grocery inflation is the highest since 2022.
I think we're going to really pick up in the fourth quarter.
The latest employment snapshot from the Bureau of Labor Statistics paints a bleak picture. Only 22,000 jobs were added in August, and black unemployment reached 7.5%. Its highest level since October of 2021.
I think we're going to see it in the economic numbers in the third and fourth quarter.
In the third and fourth quarter of this year?
Yep.
That's fascinating.
Announced corporate job cuts, Andrew, in the U.S. surging past 1 million so far this year.
He said you ain't seen nothing yet. I think we're just going to accelerate third, fourth quarter.
With 153,000 new layoffs announced just in October, according to Challenger, that is the worst October since 2003.
In the fourth quarter, you will feel the power of Donald Trump's economy.
President Trump's reaction to those indictments against Comey and James being thrown out?
His reaction was, we've seen this before. We've seen partisan judges take unprecedented steps to try to intervene in accountability before, but we're not going to give up. And I know that the Department of Justice intends to appeal these rulings very soon if they haven't already. I may have missed it.
Hey everybody. Donald Trump's latest pardon is going to blow your mind. I'm Liz Oyer, the former pardon attorney for the Department of Justice. This is Joseph Schwartz. He owned a nursing home empire called Skyline with facilities in 11 states. Schwartz stole $38 million from the paychecks of his employees, money that was supposed to cover their health care and retirement benefits. Schwartz pleaded guilty to tax fraud, and in April of this year, he was sentenced to 3 years in prison. But last week, Donald Trump granted him a full pardon after he served just 3 months of his sentence. This is a strange pardon even for Trump, because back in April, Trump's hand-picked U.S. attorney, Alina Habba, issued a press release publicly thanking all of the agents and investigators who helped put Schwartz in prison. So why did Schwartz get a pardon? Trump hasn't told us, but here's what we know. Earlier this year, Schwartz paid 2 lobbyists $960,000 to seek a pardon for him. We know that because the lobbyists filed this disclosure form, which is required by law. So who are these lobbyists? Their names are Jack Berkman and Jacob Wohl. They are far-right conspiracy theorists and convicted felons. They're known for elaborate scams, including several failed attempts to frame public figures for phony sexual assaults. During the 2020 presidential election, Berkman and Wohl ran a voter intimidation campaign targeting Black communities. They made tens of thousands of robocalls spreading disinformation intended to scare people out of voting. They were convicted of felony election fraud charges in Michigan and Ohio. They were also fined over $6 million by federal and state authorities. But now, things are looking up for these 2 con artists. Trump's pardon of Joseph Schwartz has put nearly $1 million into their pockets.
Because the word I got, I wasn't there, and this is some South Side Chicago fucking politics, was when they told President Obama our plan that, like, yeah, they're going to get here. The first, if they get contact with the PAC mill or the PAC police, we're going to hard point. We don't want to get in a shootout with them because they're not our enemy, and then you can send someone to negotiate with the Pakistanis and pull them out. And he goes, that's interesting. And then he looked at the chief of staff of the Air Force and said, what do you need to rain hell on Pakistan? My guys aren't fucking surrendering to anybody.
No shit.
That's what I heard, and that's pretty cool. And that was, so this is a mission now where politics is out the window. And then you got to figure, President Obama, he's going to lose re-election if we all die. And that, not that matters, but it does to him.
Yeah.
But he's making the fucking call because this is what we're going to do.
Wait, I'm sorry, gentlemen. I've noticed this especially with some men who seem to think Trump's behavior, the bullying and the putting people down, is a sign of strength. And I am here to tell you that is not what real strength is. It never has been. Real strength is about working hard and carrying a heavy load without complaining. Real strength is about taking responsibility for your actions and telling the truth even when it's inconvenient. Real strength is about helping people who need it and standing up for those who can't always stand up for themselves. That is what we should want for our daughters and for our sons, and that is what I want to see in a president of the United States of America.
Making stuff up, Senator.
I'm not
You're
making
just
stuff
making stuff up.
You know, sometimes when you make an accusation, it's kind of a confession, Mr. Kennedy. People do not have the same level of threat and risk from COVID that they used to because of these vaccines. People who want to exercise their freedom of choice are being denied that.
Well, they aren't. Everybody can get the vaccine.
Because you are citing data that you won't produce to the public.
You're just
and you
making
are
things up.
rejecting
You're
science.
making things up to scare people, and it's a lie.
I don't think, with respect, I do not think I'm the one making things
You
up. Thank
are
you,
lying
Mr. Chair.
right now.
For the first time, we're seeing deaths from children from measles. We haven't seen that in 2 decades. We're seeing that under your watch. You are a hazard to the health of the American people. I think that you ought to resign. And if you don't resign, the President of the United States, who put forward Operation Warp Speed, which worked, should fire you.
Georgia Senator Reverend Raphael Warnock has amplified his calls for Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to be removed from office.
And this week, the Hispanic Caucus was able to get the airline industry to stop selling passenger data to ICE. Did you hear about this?
I just casually was informed about it. I know that the caucus was really working on that, though.
Yeah. Any reaction to their decision? And
well, I mean, I think it's
what's the message to corporate America?
It's tremendously important and impactful. And, you know, as I've said before, there's been a day before Donald Trump's presidency, and there will be a day after. And in that day after, I think people will see so many of the decisions that individuals made and organizations made, and we want to make sure that that they comport with the values of everyday Americans.
Now, this is something. Caroline Leavitt's nephew's mother was detained by ICE and is subject to deportation from the country. Bruna Caroline Ferreira was detained in Revere, Massachusetts today and is said by Homeland Security to be a criminal illegal alien. They say she came here from Brazil and overstayed her tourist visa, which expired in 1999. She claims that she's a DACA recipient and has maintained her legal status here the whole time. And it appears that she has not lived with Caroline Leavitt's nephew ever, even since he was born. So we're not sure really what the relationship is there, but it seems
individuals that work for Donald Trump believe that they're immune, that they're untouchable. But today, with this hearing led by the Oversight Committee, led by Ranking Member Garcia, we're telling them that you might think you're safe, but we're going to come after you. If you violated the law, threw somebody down, don't think it ends when Donald Trump is out of office. This will not end until we hold every single person that have violated the Constitution and the rights of people in our communities accountable.
We have some news right now. Donald Trump was hit with a major loss in court. He's going to have to pay $1 million. Him and Alina Habba, his former attorney, current acting U.S. attorney for New Jersey, well, they're going to have to pay $1 million for filing a frivolous lawsuit against Hillary Clinton, the DNC, and others. The 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, including a Trump judge, upheld a $1 million sanction that was imposed by a district court judge for filing a frivolous lawsuit against Hillary Clinton, the DNC, and many other folks. This was
Chris, you've been very critical of Patel. Do you think he needs to go?
I do, and I think Deputy Director Bongino needs to go. At the end of the day, they were hired, again, their sole qualification was loyalists to President Trump. They were outspoken critics, made allegations against the FBI, all of which were patently false, and no experience, no qualifications. They lacked the character and the disposition to be in leadership. We see the way Director Patel has conducted himself since being in the office and the seat only very briefly. He can't do the simple things well. God forbid we have a major crisis. He's going to fail spectacularally.
I think there are people who hear us talk about Donald Trump's corruption and they think we're exaggerating things. So I want to talk about the kind of corruption we're seeing. The New York Times has reported that this summer there were 2 simultaneous negotiations happening. One was for the United Arab Emirates to make a massive investment in a cryptocurrency company owned not just by Donald Trump and his family, but by Steve Witkoff, Trump's chief Middle East negotiator, and his family. And at the same time, there were negotiations to allow the UAE to access some of the most advanced U.S.-designed computer chips, despite national security concerns that those chips were going to ultimately benefit China. And lo and behold, the UAE made that huge investment in the Trump-Witkoff crypto company. And a short time later, the Trump administration decided that it was going to give the UAE access to those chips. This is corruption at a massive industrial scale unprecedented in our history. We've never seen.
In a bombshell new report from ProPublica, it appears that the Epstein co-conspirators aren't the only sex traffickers that Trump seems to be protecting. According to the report, the White House interfered with a federal investigation into the Tate brothers when they landed in Florida earlier this year. Of course, the Tate brothers are well-known Trump supporters, but they are not the only Trump supporters who have recently been charged with sexual crimes against minors. A sting operation in Minnesota caught an ICE employee trying to have sex with a minor, and a recently pardoned January 6th defendant was charged with molesting a child as young as 6. My name is Dina Dahl with the Midas Touch Network.
Scalia used to say, I attack ideas, not people. And I think that's how we should think about things. You might disagree with someone's ideas, but that doesn't mean that you dislike or want to destroy the person. We can't govern ourselves if we're not willing to compromise and meet in the middle. Moreover, we're all in this together, and if we have a winner-takes-all approach where you just want to crush the enemy, if you regard people who disagree with you as the enemy, we can't constructively move forward as a society.
It's been about a year since I'm sure you heard the dumbest fucking person you know tell you all about how, Doge is going to save us all a bunch of money and we're all going to get a refund check. So I figured we probably ought to break down exactly what Doge did get us so that when your dumb fucking uncle gets pissed drunk at Thanksgiving, you can tell him to get fucked and rub his fucking face in the facts. Because as I recall, that particular band of Reddit mod incels led by a ketamine-gobbling sack of shit was supposed to save us $2 trillion. Survey says, not even fucking close, almost like you can't just pull a number out of your ass. What they did do by cutting U.S. aid, however, is kill 600,000 people, a number that is projected to hit 14 million in the next 5 years, the majority of which are children. But hey, at least Elon got to fire the inspectors general who are investigating his fucking companies. Uncle Cletus, I hope you're sober enough to remember this because the world will never forget that.
For example, with Pam Bondi, her primary qualification to me is just her unfettered loyalty to Donald Trump. She was a state attorney general. She was part of his White House counsel team, part of his impeachment team in 2019. And this is the one that just blows me away. She's the person who authored the legal opinion that Trump could accept the $400 million plane from Qatar. She was also a lobbyist for Qatar. Now, to me, that raises a few red flags, but whatever. So
I have some really disappointing news to share. And honestly, I wish this wasn't true. But the BBC has decided to censor the opening lecture of a series they invited me to give. They deleted the sentence in which I described Donald Trump as the most openly corrupt president in American history. That line is gone. It has been removed from the version broadcast this morning on BBC Radio 4. Last Wednesday, I was told the sentence was being discussed with US lawyers and at the highest levels inside the BBC. For days, they couldn't give me an answer. Yesterday, they finally did. And the irony could not be bigger. Because this lecture, titled A Time of Monsters, is exactly about the cowardice of today's elites. About universities, corporations, and yes, media networks bending the knee to authoritarianism. I find it hard to express how shocked I am by the BBC's decision. Because this is not just another media organization. And these lectures, known as the Wreath Lectures, have for more than 75 years been one of the BBC's most important public platforms for big ideas and free expression.
Donald Trump just went full authoritarian, declaring that any document that Biden signed with AutoPen is now terminated. I'm going to prove to you in under 20 seconds that Donald Trump uses an AutoPen just like he claims Biden does. Here's the DOJ's Office of Pardons. On that site, here's a list of pardons that Trump signed on November 7th. And here's Trump's signature on 3 of those pardons. Notice that the same little hairline blemish is on all 3. And the same little pin dot is also on all 3. These signatures are exactly the same, meaning that as he slept, his AutoPen did all the pardoning.
Way out of the conflict.
Way out of the conflict. The way out of the conflict is for Russia to leave Ukraine. That's the way out of the conflict. Thank you.
I think they're trying to kill us. Here's your latest unhinged headlines. Health edition. First up, on Tuesday this week, Dumpy's EPA, or Environmental Protection Agency, approved the use of forever chemicals to be used as pesticides on your vegetables. Chemicals which never break down in the environment or your body. Because why grow old when you can grow tumors instead? Next, more EPA fuckery. The EPA is also abandoning a rule that limits air pollution. Disturbing. Including fine particle pollution, which causes heart and lung disease. But don't worry, because clean air is just a suck away with the new Trump vape. Now in the new flavor. Bubba. Next, more ways to get black lung. Dumpy recently handed out an exemption to coke ovens, which is also what Pete Hegseth calls hot tubs. These coke ovens, however, are used in steelmaking, and the exemptions removes limits on pollutants such as mercury, formaldehyde, dioxins, and soot. The same concoction they're using to pickle Trump. Ugh. Next, a new pandemic? A man in Washington state is the first person in the world to contract the new strain of bird flu, H5N5, and die from the disease. It's believed the infection occurred after the patient's flock of backyard poultry was exposed to wild birds. Or he was bit by Stephen Miller.
Come on.
We have some news. The United States military under Pete Hegseth likely committed a war crime, murdering 2 individuals in the Southern Caribbean. As someone who has studied international law in law school, let me explain to you why. There's a concept in international law that you cannot do a denial of quarter. Essentially, simply put, you cannot kill an enemy combatant under international law who is unable to fight or has already surrendered. The Washington Post today reported that Pete Hegseth gave an order to essentially kill them all in the Southern Caribbean, referring to so-called enemy combatants on drug boats. The first strike targeted a boat of 11 people. That strike killed 9 out of the 11. 2 of them hung onto the side of the boat while it was engulfed in flames. At that point, the United States military could not fire on the remaining 2 to, quote, finish them off. And yet they did so anyway because that was the secretary's order.
The biggest difference between my family and most other families is there were no ups at all. It's only downside. There was no upside to being part of that family. These were cruel, selfish people who don't understand love, who don't have compassion or empathy. And I consider myself extremely lucky that I am not part of that family at all.
Oh, MAGA, you're in trouble. Apparently there's a shortage of workers on the farm. But don't worry, MAGA. Brooke Collins, who heads agriculture, says that she has a solution. Seems like Trump and Brooke Collins have put their heads together and come up with a solution to solve the problem on the farms losing workers. Let's watch the video and see what Brooke Collins has to say to solve this issue.
Score enough. There will be no amnesty. The mass deportations continue, but in a strategic way, and we move the workforce towards automation and 100% American participation, which again, with 34 million people, able-bodied adults on Medicaid, we should be able to do that fairly quickly. Thank you.
Did you hear that, MAGA? They're saying if you're able-bodied and on Medicaid, you are going to work in the fields. MAGA, This is where it hits you. You're going to work in the fields.
You will be caught. You will be removed. And you will never return.
Video to a monitor shows the moment the ICE agents
Daddy, how's your day?
A mask can't hide you from your neighbors, your children, and God. They'll know. You can walk away before the shame follows you home.
Daddy, how's your day?
Hold tight, you're slowly coming back to life. I've been giving you hell, I've been giving you hell, darling. Let go of all your haunted dreams tonight. I've been giving you hell, I've been giving you hell, darling. Hold tight, you're slowly coming back to life. I've been giving you hell, I've been giving you hell, darling. Let go of all your haunted dreams tonight. I've been giving you hell, I've been giving you hell. I won't let you down. Everyone keeps a darker place to lose control. You're not alone. And when you come looking for embrace, I know your soul. I'll be your home till you can breathe on your own. Till you can breathe on your own. Hold tight, you're slowly.
Are you coming to the truth? They strung up a man, they say him running free. Strange things that happen here, no stranger wouldn't be. If we met at midnight in the hanging tree. Are you coming to the tree where death man called out for his love to flee? Strange things that happen here, no stranger.
Keep it 100 on the land, let us see the sky, pledge allegiance. Keep it 100 on the land, let us see the sky, pledge allegiance.
Actually went through the files this weekend in depth. Donald Trump is not only named over and over in them, it is discussed this trial in which he was accused of raping a 13-year-old at Epstein's house. There is extensive discussions about a subpoena of Donald Trump in one of Jeffrey Epstein's cases in which he was accused for rape and sexual abuse. He was subpoenaed and gave a deposition in that case. There is extensive discussion between Donald Trump, Ghislaine Maxwell, and Mr. Wolf about not only Trump coming to his house, but Epstein says in these emails that he has photographs of Trump with girls.
Can think of no greater reward for any president of the United States than that he kept his country at peace and the people of his country at work, that he helped to strengthen the family and preserve the freedoms of his people, that he did his part to replace tension with confidence, despair with hope, anger with love, and spiritual resolution, or desolation, I should say, with a new faith in ourselves, in our country, and in the God who has looked over our fortunes these many years of our glory. I would like to have your help and support, not because I think I personally can bring all these things about, but because I have faith in the people of this country and in the greatness of the people of this country and the leadership that I envision in Washington. If I should have enough of your support, would be to take the lead in getting government off the backs of the people of the United States and turning you loose to do what you can do so well. Thank you very much.
Steve Witkoff, Trump's envoy to Russia and Ukraine, is a former real estate developer who is supposed to be negotiating peace on behalf of the United States, but also on behalf of millions of people whose lives would be transformed by peace in Europe. On October 14th, he had a telephone call with an advisor to President Putin, Yuri Ushakov, and the details of that call have leaked to Bloomberg. The call is disturbing because what it shows is Witkoff seeking to help the Russians negotiate with Trump in advance of a meeting with the president of Ukraine, President Zelensky, and helping the Russians stop Trump from helping Ukraine. It's a disturbing moment because it shows either that Witkoff is working on behalf of the Russians, or it shows that he doesn't understand what he's doing because, in effect, he's helping to prolong the war.
I'm reporting to you live from the socialist Canadian wasteland known as Vancouver. It's been another day in hell, guys. I don't know how much more I can take. My morning started on a sour note because despite it being the end of November, the weather is still too warm for me to wear my nice new parka. But I sucked it up and got on the low-cost public transportation to work. After work, I headed home where my neighbor gave me a samosa, but it was so hot and fresh that I burnt my mouth. Then I walked 3 minutes to the community fitness center, but my favorite treadmill was occupied, so I had to do the Stairmaster instead. Then I walked to the pharmacy to pick up my no-cost prescription, and guess what? They're out of spearmint toothpaste, so I had to get Cool Mint instead. Now I'm walking home, and what do I see but a bunch of horrible festive wooden stalls being put in our community square for the annual free Christmas market. And I can't even take a different route because then I'll be walking along the spruce and mountain-specked shoreline, and I hate getting sand in my shoes. I am going to be in such a bad mood when I pick up my children from their $10 a day daycare.
We have major news right now. A large group of former military lawyers have concluded that Pete Hegseth and anyone under him who took part in the illegal strikes in the Southern Caribbean have likely committed war crimes, murder, or both.
Just in case you're unclear on where I stand on this topic, I'm going to leave you with my most important thought today. If you can't treat someone with dignity and respect, then you need to get out. If you can't treat someone from another gender, whether that's a man or a woman, with dignity and respect, then you need to get out. If you demean someone in any way, then you need to get out. And if you can't treat someone from another race or a different color skin with dignity and respect, then you need to get out. Reach for your phones. I'm serious. Reach for your phones. Grab your phones. I want you to videotape this so that you have it, so that you can use it.